Hello, it's Ellen here, and I'm answering the question, do you girls plan on having kids one day? And if so, how would you do it? Okay, so I'll start off by saying that I really love kids, and I think I get along well with them, and I think that's to do with the way I relate to people younger than me, which is on their level as much as I can. I really love children, however, I have never really pictured myself as a mum. Like, I can see myself in, you know, the cool, quirky, musical, geeky auntie kind of role, you know what I mean? Like, where the kid comes over to your house and, you know, mum and dad and me are having some conversation, and I'm like, it's okay, you don't have to sit around with these boring adults, you know, feel free and go and play with everything, because my house is awesome, it's amazing, it's a haven for children, I have all this money because I didn't spend it on my own kids. I spent it for you. And I can be like the coolest auntie ever. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to thinkgeek.com, but my house would be rigged with that stuff. And honestly, like, ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be the adult who actually knows what it's like to be a kid and have to sit at the dinner table and hear, like, these boring conversations on, you know, politics or religion or sex. Not necessarily sex, we didn't have those conversations much. But you know what I mean? Like, it was so irritating when adults just didn't get the fact that, you know what, this is actually really, really boring for your young children. And I remember being, like, in love with any person that would just send me off to do what I wanted. So that's the kind of, you know, adult figure I'd be. And that way, you can miss out on, you know, the most annoying parts of being a parent, like having to look after the kid 24/7 when they first pop out. Really though, I do love kids. And maybe, like, somewhere far, far down in the future when I feel more settled with who I am and who I want to be and where I'm going, then I would consider it more, especially if my partner was keen on it. But I can't see myself ever being the carrier of the child. Like, pregnancy doesn't appeal to me personally. Some people are really keen on having the kid themselves. No, just no. And interestingly, like, the few people that I've been with haven't been keen on that either. So that would have been a very interesting situation if that kept going. I'm all for adoption, I guess. Yes. But, you know, if I had to customize a kid, if I was made to pick a child to have, I think it'd be good to have a girl, just because I relate better to women. But maybe then I could, like, raise a sensitive guy. I don't know. But he'd be musical. And a feminist. I like it. Good. Bye.
Hello, my name is Grace and welcome to QueerFAQtor this week. I have about 3 minutes to roll this off in one single take before I have to go. So, here we go. Babies. How do I feel about babies? I've always got along pretty well with children, I think. And I also find children some of the funniest things in the whole entire world. They're one of the things that I get a lot of my humour from. Just watching small children amuses the heck out of me. And all the silly things they do and the expressions they pull. Sometimes I wish I was a mum, sometimes I don't. However, I know I'm quite, like, a self-absorbed person in terms of I'm always sort of doing my own thing. So I'd imagine I'd be this sort of parent who's, like, spending, like, 10 hours trying to work on this really amazing, intricate toy for my child, and then, like, forgot to feed them or something. So, you know, if I ended up having a kid, I need to have a partner who was, you know, who could keep me in line in that regard, and keep me on topic and stuff like that. And I think I'd struggle reprimanding my child, and I have to work on that as well, like the discipline part of it, because I just wouldn't want to do it. This is a really interesting topic, because I don't know, this might be a bit of a controversial view, but from the Christian viewpoint, because I've kind of said I don't necessarily think that males, like, there's more difference between males and females than there are. There's more difference between all males and all females than there are between males and females, right? So I don't necessarily think that men bring anything specific to a relationship, and neither do women. They are their own person. So that being said, what's the kind of role of having different sexes? Well, I kind of do feel that, you know, men and women, one of the things they can do, which people of the same sex can't, is reproduce, obviously. However, obviously that's different for people who may not be able to have kids and stuff like that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't necessarily think that like in terms of they're working out how to develop female sperm and stuff, so 2 female partners could just have a kid who's genetically both of theirs. I don't necessarily think just because we can, we should, from a Christian perspective. Like, that being said, I guess, you know, if you flip that argument around, things like medical research, you know, there are certain things which I definitely think God gave us a brain to find out how to help people. However, this is just one of those things I'm a bit iffy on. Like, that being said, you know, doesn't mean I don't think that maybe one of the parents could carry the kid, or that adoption's okay or anything like that. And I get really annoyed when people go, or have been told, you know, or I don't know, people talk to gay couples as if they're being really selfish trying to raise a kid, like life's going to be so much harder for the kid and stuff like that. Like, okay, you know, the world's a bit homophobic and stuff like that, but that's not the parents' fault. And of course the parents are going to think about all the different ways they're going to need to support their child. Like, as if gay parents do not understand how to protect their child from discrimination and stuff like that. Like, honestly, it's just a bit annoying. And sometimes I feel like people sort of ask that question with a hidden agenda of wanting to, you know, sort of wanting to talk people out of having gay kids. I don't know, having gay parents having kids. And that being said, I do actually know someone who has lesbian parents, and she's a lovely person. So there you go. And it was really interesting hearing the gay moms the other day talking about that, because that is a really interesting dynamic. I think if I had a child, I would definitely want to have a strong female or male role model, regardless of what gender it was. And that's not because I think men bring anything specific to society, but the reality is we live in a society where there are gender roles. So if you did have a male growing up, he would actually probably try to look to a male to see how he was allowed to act, which is stupid, but it's like, you can't exist outside a vacuum of all the other gender influence. Like, there's research that's been shown, you know, even if parents bring up kids gender neutral, like they don't, you know, they let the girl play footy and they let the guy wear dresses and stuff like that, like the rest of the society still influences it. So I think it would still be important to have that sort of presence in the kid's life. And obviously, you know, if the kid's been growing up around females all the time and then runs into a male, they're going to be a bit alienated by that experience too. So it's important to balance that out. I was thinking about what sort of things I'd like to name my kid. I've always liked really gender ambiguous names. I don't know, I think they're hot. Like Sam and Jamie and Alex. I really like those names. I like the name Emile as well. You know Emile Hirsch, who was in Milk? Yeah, I really like that name. However, I think if I named a boy Emile, he'd probably tease the crap out of him. But then again, you know, I'm not going to not do something just because society can't deal with it. That's pretty much like saying, you know, every single person is part of a minority, let's make sure they're not, like, you aren't allowed, if you're redhead, you aren't allowed to have a redhead baby, because that redhead kid's going to get teased. So it's like saying, let's just whittle out all the minorities because it's going to be tough for them. Well, the problem's not my child, the problem is society, and, you know, tolerance isn't going to start by getting rid of all the things that we supposedly can't tolerate. You know what I mean? So, alright, 5:14, I gotta stop. Hope that was enough to talk about. I'm willing to hear your views on the Christian thing. Ellen kind of said she thinks she'd be a cool auntie. We have a little sister, so I'm sort of hoping that one day if she has a kid, I'll be able to be that cool auntie to that child. Otherwise, like, for example, I know someone who has an auntie who couldn't have kids, so what she pretty much did, or does, is pay a lot of money towards the school fees of one of her nieces, I think. So, you know, like, even if you can't necessarily have a child, there's other ways you can be actively involved in kids' lives. So, it's an interesting topic. In terms of the Christian standpoint, I don't know exactly where I stand, but it's certainly been shown to me that, you know, gay parents can raise really good children, and there's no question about that. If being gay doesn't change anything about anything except who I'm attracted to, and that person happens to be same sex, and we can't literally produce a baby, maybe I'm not supposed to make one. Like, I don't know. I don't know, we'll see. We will see. Love to hear thoughts, and I get a timeout because it's 6:32. Okay, bye.